So there have been so many ways psychos have been able to engage with the show over the years. So there have been slumber parties, Comic-Con events, games. What is your favorite fan experience?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think the college tour was a lot of fun because we got a chance to go all over the country and see all these psychos that were all over the place. And then second would probably be the Fan Appreciation Day here in New York. That was a lot of fun.
Wait, that one that was at the Ziegfeld?
At the Ziegfeld.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I remember a friend of mine, he works in an office right across the street from the Ziegfeld, and he came out of work and he was like, what are all these people doing out here? Then he said, wait a second, are they screaming Dulé? What? and I saw when I was going down the line, and he was like, what? Get out of here, man, come on.
What about you, James?
The crazy psycho, like the Comic-Cons and the fan appreciations are always fun and wild, but our more intimate fan interaction is also, I think, for me, has been the most gratifying, and that's when we get visits on our set, specifically from our Make-A-Wish children, one of whom is with us tonight in the front row.
Okay. All right now.
Yeah. Hello, Anna.
Anna King Project in the house.
Yeah. But those days are always awesome because
Yeah.
it's a little more intimate, and we get to meet their families, and they get to hang out with us, and we can actually hear everything. So those are always very near and dear to us.
That's so cool.
You know, when we first started Psych, I fancied myself as something of a stunt actor guy, like a guy who was going to do all of his own stuff. That ceased almost immediately. But I dived into the moving blueberry in the pilot. The guy's chasing me from like the pawn shop, and you take off, and I catch up with the blueberry, and I dove in, and my feet are kicking around as you take a corner, and I did that.
That's it. I don't think I've done anything dangerous. Maybe I think I'm not doing that.
We did jump into the ocean.
We did jump into the ocean, right?
Bounty hunter.
Yeah.
It was really cold.
There was one day, I can't remember which time it was that I was up there, and someone said to me, okay, remember the one with the Rachel Lee Cook one where you had to be in the water?
Yes.
So after that one, I was up there, and somebody on the crew was saying to me, James is not getting in the water anymore. And then we were doing the musical, and this was funny to me. One of the crew people came up to me because I was watching the contraption for the rope around the neck.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, that's really scary. And he said, yeah, James doesn't want to get hung by the ceiling anymore. It's like making a really big deal about that. No ropes.
Yeah.
What has made the show different than any other project you've worked on?
I don't think I've laughed so much on the job. I mean, for 8 years, I went to work and I laughed all day.
Yeah.
You know, there was never any moment that I wasn't happy being there or I felt any real tension. Even in the midst of tension, we'd always be laughing through it. And I've never had that experience before. Yeah. Hopefully I'll have it again, but I don't know if I ever will have that type of dynamic again.
Yeah.
And then also working in Vancouver, we were kind of forced to interact with each other. You know, if we were in LA or New York, we had friends and family, so we would leave work and go do other things. But in Vancouver, we were all we had. So we even with the crew, we'd always hang out on the weekends and just crack each other up.
Yeah. Yeah.
My answer is very simple. It's these guys. Never been a part of something where the fan base was so present, you know, and such a huge part of the overall experience. I mean, it got to the point where, you know, we would start a new season and just sit down and say, what do you think the psychos want to see? Like, what do they want? Like, and then we actually started asking you what you want. And you would tell us, and then we would do it. And I don't know, I can't imagine ever working that way again. But you know, you guys were sort of our 13th man. You know, I felt like we could always sort of feel your presence while we were working. There's no us without you. So that for me is what made it different than every other crummy TV gig that I had.
You know, Ali, going back to Twitter with the Psych musical, I didn't know that Yang was a surprise. So when she came on set the first day, I was all excited that she was there, and I took a picture, and I tweeted it out with hashtag Psych Musical. And then Steve was like, you weren't supposed to tell anybody. I said, nobody told me. You know what I mean? So I kind of let that cat out of the bag, you know.
It was really funny because we were hanging out, and I wasn't on Twitter at all, but Dulé posted this right away. And then right afterwards, because they told me we're not going to put your name on the first episode, so Yang will be surprised. And he gets this, he went, what? And he said he got this message right away from the studio or whatever, was saying, don't put that on.
I'm like, nobody told me. You know I'm a tweetaholic.